Russia's defense ministry inviting the International Committee of the Red Cross and the UN to investigate the facility. At least 50 Ukrainian prisoners of war were killed on Thursday when the Olenivka detention camp was bombed in a separatist-controlled part of the Donbas. Over 70 others were wounded. Moscow and Ukraine are accusing each other of attacking the facility. Well, a spokesperson for Turkey's president is saying the first ship carrying grain could be leaving Ukraine on Monday. Ibrahim Kalin said the Joint Coordination Center in Istanbul could complete final work on the exporting routes very soon. Russia and Ukraine are major global wheat suppliers. The UN brokered agreement they signed in Istanbul last week is intended both to ease the food crisis and to reduce global grain prices that have been rising since Russia's invasion of Ukraine. While grain ships in the Black Sea ports wait for the all clear to set sail, there's been a blow to the farming industry growing next season's crop. The owner of one of the largest agricultural companies in Kyiv has been killed, along with his wife, in a Russian strike in Mykolaiv. Alexei Vatotursky was one of Ukraine's richest businessmen. His New Boulogne firm specializes in the production and export of wheat, barley and corn. John Hendren has more from Odessa.
Those ships carrying Ukrainian grain might leave as soon as Monday. A Turkish presidential spokesman says if all is well, if there are no logistical problems, and if there are no security issues, those ships are expected to sail tomorrow. He says there's a high likelihood that that will happen. We at Al Jazeera talked to one of the captains of a boat at Chernomorsk, loaded with grain. He said he was told to get ready to leave on Monday, to follow a pilot ship to Istanbul and then to places unknown. He said he has not been told where that grain ultimately will go. But there could be security problems, and one reason for that is there was a loud boom audible from near the port in Odessa, where we're standing right now, and that could signify a Russian strike. If that is the case, it's possible that those shipments could again be postponed. And just to give you an idea of how dangerous the situation is right now, in Mykolaiv, a town that the Russians have struck multiple times, the head of a major grain concern called Alexei Vatotursky of a company called Nibulon was killed along with his wife in the strikes there. In another instance, a farmer in eastern Ukraine drove a combine over an explosive and was injured. So from the harvesting to the port, it's a dangerous mission. And then going through those newly safe channels that were brokered in an agreement with the United Nations and Turkey is also perilous because the waters in the Black Sea have been mined. So the effort here is to try to get those ships to their destination and to make sure that that grain can get out to the world at a time when there is a threatened global food shortage.
Well, it's worth just touching on what's been happening inside Ukraine. The areas that we want to show here in red are controlled by Russia and its separatist allies. There's been heavy fighting in these parts of the eastern front of Donetsk. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky ordered civilians to leave the region on Saturday. In the south, Ukrainian forces are pushing towards the city of Kherson. They've been targeting bridges to cut off Russian forces' supply routes. And in Russia, military leaders have been holding their annual show of naval strength. Warships, submarines and weaponry are all on display in Petersburg, where President Vladimir Putin was in attendance. He announced that the Navy would be receiving hypersonic Zircon cruise missiles in the coming months. Sailors are honoured on this day, but we did have 3,500 personnel participating in the ceremony.
The key thing here is the capability of the naval forces. Our Navy can respond with lightning speed to all of those who infringe on our sovereignty and freedom. It honorably fulfills strategic tasks on the border of the country and in any part of the ocean in the world. It has high readiness for active operations of its coastal, surface, air, and submarine forces, and it is constantly improving, like with the latest Zircon hypersonic missile systems, which have no countertypes in the world and no barriers. Dear comrades, their delivery to the Russian armed forces will begin in the coming months.